Okay, I've got a bit of a different one here today, and it is going to be a short video. I know that one of my subscribers offered me an article to maybe look at what Funimation did for one of the dubbings of Nekopara. As much as I love Nekopara, I understand why there's outrage about it, but I didn't feel like there'd be enough there for me to make a full story on it, especially when quite a few people already cover Funimation. But instead, I managed to find this just today. So, just before we get into this, wait a minute and welcome, my name is Yuusha and welcome to a Yuusha Bulletin. And this time I have found this article from Japan Today, which says, single women only, says rules for anime voice actress auditions for new Love Live series. Now, if you don't know about Love Live, it's been around a little while now. I think it's been around since 2012, or maybe around that time, I think. I may have that wrong. But so far there have been 4 seasons total, 2 of the main season and 2 of Sunshine, and also a couple of movies as well. Now, recently it has been stated in Japan that, of course, single women only are allowed to apply for these roles. So I'm going to read the article and I'm going to compare my knowledge of what I know of Japan and their idol industry as of now, and compare it to what they're trying to put here into the actual next airing anime. So let's get into the article. Tokyo. For an otaku-oriented franchise as perpetually popular and profitable as Love Live, there really hasn't been all that much anime content produced for it. This is true. The original got 26 TV episodes and a theatrical feature, as it did its follow-up / spin-off Love Live Sunshine, tossing a single direct-to-video OVA for the first series, and that's pretty much all the Love Live anime there is. But they do have a lot of games, and they do have a massive fan base, even outside of Japan. It's crazy. But the Love Livers, as the franchise's most ravenous fans are known, got some good news in January when it was announced that a brand new Love Live anime TV series has been greenlit. The title is yet to be announced, but it seems safe to assume whatever it is, it'll end up with no fewer than 3 consecutive exclamation points, which most likely is possible because they've done that last time with Sunshine. Of course, a new Love Live series needs a new batch of anime schoolgirl idol singers to follow as they chase their dreams of stage stardom and forge friendships along the way. And that in turn means that the new series needs a new crop of voice actresses to play them, which is true because they've done that with Sunshine as well. And this was the this is the cast of Sunshine right there. But anyway, let's scroll down that a little bit more. So let's get into the hiring bit. Rather than pick from existing voice actresses, though the producers for a new Love Live series have announced that they'll be holding open amateur auditions for the parts, while the exact details are yet to be announced. The Love Live official website already lists a number of eligibility requirements, including applicants must be female residing in Japan, must be between 15 and 22 years old as of the 1st of April 2020. That one's a weird one. I think if you're going to go into voice acting, you need to be like very minimal 16, but I prefer somewhere between like 18 to 24 myself. But I understand why they're choosing that age gap, because the age of the students. Applicants under junior high school age not allowed, of course, for many, many reasons. Applicants must not be currently contracted with a recording or talent agency. That's an interesting one. Must be living in Tokyo area or willing to relocate. Must acquiesce. That is such a difficult word. Acquiesce to video being recorded during audition process. Minors must have permission from parents or legal guardians. So, of course, if they're 18 or... Well, if they're under the age of 18, then of course it'll go to their guardians. Okay. A lot of those sound like pretty logical stipulations for legal and or logistic reasons. However, what's raised some eyebrows is the very last item on the list requirements. Audition is only open to unmarried applicants. Now, let me just read the rest of this, and then I'll go over what I think of these points myself and what it means for the actual industry itself in Japan. Currently, women in Japan are allowed to marry at an age of 16. That'll be changed to 18 in the near future as part of a legislative form. That is, I thought it was already 18. Well, actually, no, I thought it was 20. And I thought for homosexual couples it was 18, so I might have to check that. And while teen marriages are rather unusual in Japan, there's nothing all that eye-raising about a woman in her early 20s being married, since legal adulthood here begins at 20. So there we go, that's where I got the 20 from. It'll also be changing to 18 soon, so it's going down. Okay, interesting. So it's going to be the same age for all sexualities. As such, some online commenters can't see any reason for the no marriage clause other than to suddenly present the voice actresses as being romantically available in order to please fantasizing fans. I don't know about the fantasizing fans part. I think it's more of the more realistic theme of them feeling like real idols actually starting out for the same feeling. But anyway, let's get into the rest of this. Critics of the requirement have called it nasty and pandering to otaku tastes. Which, I'm going to touch on that in a minute. However, there's a key aspect of Love Live that makes the single ladies only please clause not so surprising. The new Love Live series and its auditions are really a case of art imitating life, imitating art, imitating life. Well, yeah, slice of life. That's the category it's in. The original series about a group of ordinary schoolgirls who become... Okay, so this is just literally... what it is, even, to get into the event, which is known as Love Live. So, in effect, the producers for the upcoming new Love Live arc aren't just recruiting voice actresses, but looking for members with whom to form a functioning idol unit. So, they're basically not just looking at making voice actors do it, they're looking for an actual physical idol group to voice act an anime, which will then start off their background as characters, maybe in preparation for live stage performance. That's what I can draw from that. So, it will deviate from the formula served as predecessors, licensed to the print, yep, okay. No getting married is actually a comparatively less restrictive rule. Well, yeah, most women in Japan, if I remember, usually end up getting married around the age of ages between 25 to 30. So there we go. Sometimes even a bit younger, as it was stated above. Is there really any consumer demand for music from idol singers who are already married? Asked one commentator, with another chiming in with, all they're doing is looking for people who can meet the fans' needs. Yes, okay. So let's read the last bit. With the successful idol units owning much of their financial stability to fans whose loyalty becomes more from an emotional connection, real or imagined, yep, because they make more songs outside of the anime, which is true, than a love for their music itself, it's unlikely that a single applicant's only rule will be changed. Okay, so here are my thoughts. If you compare other idol markets in the world, and think back for a while when you remember Justin Bieber was popular. He was 13 years old, and he became viral, and if I'm honest, as many of you would probably think, his singing fame when he came out to the public when he was very young, I think many could say it ruined his life, and he ended up doing drugs, and he somehow managed to stay around as he is now, and even probably being more accepted than he was back in the past. But then if you look at the K-pop side, where the industry is much more stricter, especially to the K-pop boy bands, as far as the scene, like BTS and a lot, their guidelines, what they can do in their daily life, everything like that is so severely restricted. So if you compare that in comparison to the restrictions that Japan has for normal idols, in this context, normal idols, Japan's a bit more lenient with it, although I wouldn't say I completely agree with it. So, let's get to the points that I mentioned here. Applicants must be female residing in Japan. Makes sense because they need to be able to voice Japanese, and also, well, they need to be nearby to be able to do the stuff. Must be between 15 and 22 years old as of April 2020. This could be a starting point for young females who have singing talent, or maybe a voice acting talent. So I understand why they would do scouting. It's been a common thing that's been in Japan for years, although most people who have started that young usually have complained about the industry, which is fair. I understand why they would, for many reasons, including the hard hours, not being able to have a boyfriend, which is why the married part was also thrown in there. So the bit with the top when it says single women only, I think if they're referring to boyfriends as well, that'll be the same as realistic idols also. Because usually if an idol started in Japan, they'd be told not to have a boyfriend, just so then the otakus who find an idol that they really like are like, yeah, I've come to support you and that lot. Because unfortunately, guys can be quite jealous people, and especially if an idol that they look up to, like the really die-hard fans, these are the really die-hard fans, who literally almost become obsessed with idols. It's the same with BTS fangirls. It's the exact same. Like, if they found out that their idol was going out with a girl, they would go mental. They would go absolutely square. It would be the exact same thing as if a female idol got a boyfriend. It would be the exact same thing. And I do think that type of behaviour with actual people who do that is quite toxic. But that's my own thoughts. So, applications under junior high, school age not allowed. Perfectly agree with that one. Don't bring kids younger than that into that world, because that will destroy them, I believe. Applicants must not be currently contracted with a recording or talent agency, which I think is an interesting one. I think with the talent agency, it's so that the voices and everyone now will have their own unique spot. So maybe they have already got like the plot pointed out for Love Live. So maybe they're trying to like make their real life as connected to each other as possible, to just like minimalizing it so nobody knows who they are. Like, it's like a fresh slate. But the recording one is a bit interesting. Usually you would want somebody who would have, you'd know who would have the talent. Then again, with the private event, I'm guessing that's why they're doing it. But the question is, can they voice act? That's the other part. Must be living in Tokyo or willing to relocate? Yeah, because of the animation studio being close by, as well as the recording studios. Must cease to video being recorded during an audition process. Of course, it's an audition, so that they can document it and then they can judge it. Minors must have permission from parents. Yes, I agree with that one to a certain extent. I think the limit should be 16, but when I think about the school ages, I understand why they say 15, and they're going on the look of realism, like to make it feel more like it's actually young girls who are singing and performing, which I kind of have a minor problem with. I'll say this right now. I have a minor problem with the point of it being 15 and that lot. Like, I think if anybody's to start voice acting like that, I mean, they can probably do like minor roles. Like at 15, minor roles I think is just fine. Because they're starting out, they're getting used to doing little bits, and then they could probably fully start at 18. That I would personally agree with. But 15 for me just seems a bit too young. I know there's going on like doing it for the fans, but there's people who can also voice act to sound younger, and they even sing songs in the characters' voices. So, audition is only open to unmarried applicants. I explained that a bit before. It's because also with marriage and life events, it can change how a person's view is. It's the same with a married man. The mannerisms change, the behaviour change. It's the exact same thing for females in this part, and they want it to sound more genuine for that part. And I know some people will be like, oh god, why don't they have to be married? Unfortunately, that's just the way that the idol industry is. And I said it as well for Korea, well, South Korea especially, with K-pop. It's severely strict over there, so Japan's side looks a bit more of a cakewalk than, well, Japan's side. Doesn't mean I agree with it. So with this bit here, critics of the requirement have called it nasty and pandering to the otaku tastes. I would say if it was for the sake of exploitating people under age. But unfortunately, Japan's systems are a bit different to what background I was raised in. And when the parents come into it and they agree to it themselves, then it's out of anyone else's hands. The kid wants to do it, they can prove it, and then the parents sign off the waiver. It's the parents' fault then if the child ends up getting traumatized or anything like that. I'm sorry, but parents are responsible for their kids in that one. So I understand why they would have the permission from the parents or the legal guardians to do it. I completely understand that. And as long as they had all the proper information and all the proper guidelines as well as things that I'd expect, And the parents still agree to it. Out of our hands. Out of our hands. But the pandering to our otaku tastes... I mean, Love Live has got a massive community inside and outside Japan. I'm not surprised that they're making another Love Live. I'm really not. And to be honest, some of the songs are really good as well. I'm not an overall big Love Live fan, but I just thought that the title caught my eye and I thought I had to actually go into it. But it makes sense why they're going for girls that are not even done anything, but that does leave other female cast members who are probably looking for voice acting roles, who maybe wanted to hop on the Love Live train to maybe get their own bit started on that one. But by the looks of it, it looks like they're only going to go for people who are indefinitely new to the entire area. But that just seems like that's the way it's going to be. It feels like now Love Live might go into the wave of making animated idols feel like realistic idols. They're trying to mesh together that line between reality of idols and fiction, which I'm not the biggest fan of mixing both of those together, as you'll know from me covering what happened in Australia recently with them trying to ban anime, which I did put a little thing on there saying, by the way, nothing's going to happen, the guidelines have already been provided by Australia. Anyway, I think reality and fiction should be kept apart, but I see what they're going for. They're trying to go for the more authentic feel of the anime. I get it. I get it. Could also be a good opportunity for young girls to possibly start off a stable career, either in a singing career or possibly a voice acting career. But whether they are underage or not, that's up to the parents. We can't control that. I did have a look at some of the comments down below, and with the physiologically, like I said earlier, with the tones of voice change due to age, concentration, and hormones, yes, and also the development, well, socially as well for girls, especially, because around that time it starts to change. And then they're trying to say no, non-virgins need not apply. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that's going to be the case at all with this one. I don't think they're ever going to put on a sign saying that. If they do, I'll be a bit surprised. So it must be willing to be ruthlessly exploited by male managers. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, if a younger girl signs up with the permission of her, permission of her parents, there's nothing you can do. And also, if women want to take up that part, then that's their risk. It's a risk. And whether they get selected or not is another story, and you don't know if they're even going to be a guy, do you? So, yeah. Some of the comments I understand. I understand some of these comics and their concerns, but I think some bits have been a bit misconstrued, I think. So one of the stupidest things I've ever heard anywhere. It's been in Japan for years. It's been in Korea for even longer, especially with the relationships. So yeah, Trevor Peace, have a look at the K-pop industry. This is child's play compared to that. Yes, and I completely agree with this. Need some labor laws. This is stupid. Well, that's why when you're younger, they always have the contract involved with the parents' permission. And if the parents sign it off, it's the parents' fault. That's the way I look at it. But I am going to end that here. I also want to know what you guys think about this, because I have a few friends of mine in real life who are Love Live fans. But from what I can see here, I can understand the mentality of why the people who chose this have chosen to go on this way. I think some of the comments are a bit over-exaggerated, in complete honesty. Especially with the way that they've gone with, oh god, now they're going to say non-virgin. No. They're doing the no-boyfriend thing because that's the way that idol things have always been done in Japan, just to avoid extreme die-hard otaku people from getting upset. Because the Japanese are obsessed with giving the best reception possible and giving what they provide the best. They are all about service. That's what they're all about service. That's why all of the Japanese idols always do their best as much as possible. But K-pop is on another level. Anyway, I'm going to end this here. Please let me know your thoughts below, because I want to know what you guys think about this subject. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want any more from me. And I shall see you in the next bulletin. Sonaja, guys. I will most certainly see you next time. My, though. I wonder what exactly is going to go on with this. It's going to be interesting.